What's your favorite Nintendo character? Which one has a life jacket? I am lonely. Please, someone talk to them. Please get them out of my comments. Do you like cheese? Yes. What's your favorite cereal flavor? Also, yes. I posted this thing on the YouTube community tab saying, hey, I'm doing a Furry Q&A. Ask me anything you've ever wanted to know about me ever. Because apparently I'm that narcissistic furry YouTuber again. And originally, I planned on debating you guys. You didn't know it, but I really wanted to debate you guys. I was hoping I would receive a lot of the questions that I would get all the time on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, and create some sort of FAQ or some sort of commonly asked question video or document to use on my stream so that when someone comes in and asks me a question, I just have a document for them to read, even though furries never read. They look at things and they're like, this sign can't stop me because I can't read, and they enter anyways. And that's a meme from Arthur if you didn't know. So that happened, but inadvertently, you guys ended up asking me some of the best goddamn questions I've ever seen in some sort of furry Q&A. Not only did I take the L in assuming these questions would be bad, but also I took another L. You guys gave me another L by asking me some really goddamn good questions and shit that I can work with here. And I put my fursuit in the back just to show that it's a furry Q&A. I am not wearing that fursuit head, but you can tell that there is a furry in the back, and I have not made my bed. So without further ado, let's get started. First question we have here. As a growing member of the furry fandom, you have grown and explored who you are and achieved so much, but what are your biggest achievements outside of the furry fandom? Okay, never in my life have I ever been asked this question ever. Like, not even by my own parents. Like, hey, what have you achieved? Like, not even by any of my friends. Of like, hey, what have you done about you? Because I don't like talking about myself. That's just how I am. But like, holy fuck, I get it in a comment and it's like, you want to know stuff about me that isn't furry? Who are you? But still, Dizzy, greatly appreciate it. You should have more likes on this post, but that doesn't matter because clout does not matter. So to fully answer your question, truthfully, I have two big achievements outside of the furry fandom. One being somewhat related to the furry fandom, but starting before it. The biggest achievement that I've had in my life is graduating college with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. I made it all the way through private middle school, private Catholic high school, all guys Catholic high school, which is like a preppy school, and I survived that. And I don't know why. I decided to push myself further and go for an engineering degree. I wasn't even really passionate about it. I just did it because I'm like, you know what, this is interesting, and I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with how the world works, even though it's very broad. And also mechanical engineering is really broad, so I can start learning about it. I managed to bust my ass and get through all of this shit that I thought I would never achieve in my lifetime. Like, I thought dead ass I was gonna flunk out a few times. Never got anywhere close to doing that. I got through, I led so many projects. I have a patent pending on one of the projects that I did like a year and a half ago, which why is it taking so long to do that? I achieved and did so much, and I still got my degree. Like, that's not an easy thing to do, getting an engineering degree, especially in a project-based college where I hate fucking working with people because they're so incompetent. And I had to do that at least 10 times over. And it was great. I mean, it wasn't great, but the fact that I led that, and I'm like, you know what? I can blame the shit show on this, and this person, and I'll still get a good grade because you know what? I put in the work and effort. This is not me being a shitty student or a shitty partner. You get the idea. I busted my ass trying to get through. I made it all the way through. I got my degree. It meant nothing in hindsight because I don't have an engineering job. I could get one if I wanted to, but I have a very expensive piece of paper that's worth $250,000 apparently. But this leads on to the other achievement that I have, which people would think is related to the furry fandom, but isn't. My other biggest achievement outside of the furry fandom is being able to do YouTube full-time as a content creator, as a job, as of currently, even though it is adjacent to the furry fandom, and I wouldn't be in this position without the furry fandom and my jump into it and doing what I do online. But the fact that I own this sort of business and I'm able to get up every day and do what makes me happy and be financially stable in that sense, just that to me is like the achievement, like the dream that I've been wanting since I was a kid, since I was watching fucking Call of Duty commentaries on YouTube at the age of 12. Like, the fact that I'm able to get to this point and do it, I'm pretty happy with myself. Not in the sense of being like, hey, I'm amazing and I deserve this, but you know, just in that sense of giving yourself a pat on the back. Like, I worked hard and I got to where I wanted to be, and I'm proud of myself for doing that and not giving up. So those for me were my two biggest achievements outside of the furry fandom. One being maybe half a one since it was furry adjacent, so 1.5 achievements. Who knows where I'll also be in the future. Maybe at some point if I find a relationship, that'll be an achievement. But still, that's kind of where things are right now. Thank you for the very personable question, not relating to furries, but more so me. All right, next question. I know this must have been asked before, but how did you ever get your fursona? Did you make it? If so, what made you come up with it? Okay, so the easy answer, and when I mean easy, I mean the lazy answer to this question would be, go and watch videos on my channel. To sort of narrow it down, if you go to my channel, look up keywords like fursona, my new furry fursona, Maverick the Wolf Dragon. Like if you look up any of these terms on my channel and go from like oldest videos to newest, you'll find the time span of how my fursonas came to be, the 3 that I have, and what they sort of mean and why I've sort of fallen off with a few and moved on with a few others. But we're not going to do the easy answer. I'm going to give the abridged version of all 3 of my fursonas, starting with this fucker, Maverick the Wolf Dragon, who originally started as my sort of OC on YouTube back before I did the 7 levels of being a furry, which is how everyone found me. Yeah, you get the idea. I've heard that a lot. This isn't me being narcissistic. This is me just being truthful with how people know me and have come to understand who I am online. But at the time, he was originally based on the Digimon Hackmon, who I wanted to have as my OC for YouTube commentaries. Eventually, I found the furry fandom, and I wanted to make a fully fledged Sona from what I had, from what people sort of knew me as online. So I redesigned him into some sort of fluffy wolf dragon hybrid. He would have just been a dragon if I realized dragons can be fluffy. I just wanted some sense of realism in a fictional character, which makes no fucking sense. And so, he's a wolf dragon hybrid. 70% wolf, 25% dragon. I don't know where the other 5% is, but don't ask me about that because I don't know. But at some point, I got a fursuit of him. Fursuit is here. To answer your other question about it, the fursuit maker is More for Less. If anyone ever asks who made my fursuit, More for Less. Go and watch my unboxing video on that if you want to see how that looked before, like 2-3 years ago-ish when I unboxed him. But so far, Maverick has sort of stood as the mascot or brand for BetaEtaDelota on YouTube, or BetaEtaDelota on whatever I'm doing. People identify him as me. And with that, the sort of personality that I've had with him hasn't really changed, because it's sort of tied to what others expected him to be. That's a whole argument for another day. But the point is, at some point through my adulthood going through college, I was thinking, well, I want to enjoy the NSFW, the adult side of the furry fandom, because realistically, there are no issues with it. But I didn't want to have my dick flopping about on YouTube, and I didn't want to have that with Maverick. I didn't want to associate it. He's a safe for work character. I wanted to stick with it. And so one day I saw on Twitter that someone had an adoptable for a brown and light tan and red and green Fulf. And so I bought it on the spot. And that day, Levi, the German Shepherd, was born. Or at least a few months later once I commissioned the ref sheet. Eventually I said fuck it, and Levi became known to everyone as sort of my secondary, more personal fursona. And again, people saw him as the vessel of the thirst. It just got to a point where I didn't care what people thought, you know, just with adult things, people enjoying them. Oh no, Beta likes adult NSFW content online? Who would have fucking thought that? Wow, what an awful human being. No one really cared. So the purpose of Levi in this case was he was supposed to be my exploratory side of the furry fandom without having to worry about a brand tied to him. Because obviously it doesn't necessarily look good in that sense, so I just decided, why not? If people know about it, that's fine, because there's nothing wrong with being into adult things if you're an adult. And then Beta the Aussie Shep, that's just still a work in progress, but for me, has really been the fursona that I wanted to build from the ground up. Because I really didn't get that with the last 2 sonas, one being literally a Digimon ripped off, and the other, I practically bought the design. So I thought, you know what, I want to at least do this once, even if I never use it. So I thought, okay, what would it look like if this fucker had a fursona? What would this fucker right here be if he was a furry? And so I consulted my friend, Zillion, who was kind enough to take the time with me to design a fursona based on traits that I have about me. Some small things here and there, but we'll go into the detail about that in future videos. But the point is, I wanted something that was cute. I wanted floppy ears. I wanted to be adorable, but also chaotic, but also somewhat cool, but also really sexy because like body positivity. And to be honest, like even though this haircut makes me look like fucking Credence from Fantastic Beasts, I still fucking like how I look. And that's sort of the self-confidence that I gained with the years. And so eventually Beta the Aussie Shep, or Beta the Australian Shepherd, came to be. He's not really the fursona for YouTube. He's just sort of my own personal fursona, but watch the videos. I'm getting too much into detail about stuff. So you have those 3 sonas. Will there be more? I don't really know. The point being, I'm happy being an Aussie Shep. Next question. Do you think the fur economy will stay so custom and personal, or can you see corporations or machines making fursuits and or art in the future? Do you personally welcome such a change? Well, yes, I mean, it's already sort of happened. NFTs exist. Fuck those things and fuck those people. Actually, no, don't. They've never experienced the loving touch of a man or woman in their life. But with regards to seriously answering your question, there are two sort of sides of what you're asking. There's the industrialization portion of the furry fandom of bringing sort of new technology of making fursuit making and art, the art of making content or creating things easier. And there's also the side of corporatization, of corporatizing things, which I personally think will never happen. I mean, yes, they've tried. Corporations have tried to be hip with the kids with furries, but we all have seen that meme. I am not one for it because it takes the love and emotion and, quite frankly, the good stuff about the furry fandom out of it. So I'm not really for corporatizing the furry fandom in any way. Now, as for the industrialization portion of it, with bringing new technology and trying to make the act of making fursuits easier, I think I'm all for that. And some companies even do that with 3D printing fursuit heads, or making very easily replicable molds for fursuits, or making art so that it's easier to do, saving bases. Like, there's so many small things that you don't even know that people do to make fursuit making and artistry easier. So if anything, I'm all for industrialization and making people's jobs easier, not having to work hours on end. You know, work smarter, not harder in this case. So I'm all for that. As for corporatization, you know, just be the furry porn and protect the furry fandom from corporatization, the raining hellfire of guns and knives and bullets. Protect the furry fandom with furry porn. I think I'm overdoing it, aren't I? Either way, next question. What do you think is the most difficult part about making a fursona? Will Protogen Maverick get more attention in the future? Latter question, I don't really know. That's up to you guys. I'm already happy with my 3 fursonas. If you want to bring the other one to life, then feel free to do that. That's why I welcome any fan art or whatever you do, as long as you ask permission if it's NSFW first. That's the weird thing we've gone over. As for the main question, the most difficult part about making a fursona, honestly, I think it's indecisiveness. Not to say that people are indecisive or stupid or can't make up their mind. What I'm saying is there are so many options and you're so unsure and worried about the final product of what you make for a fursona being what you truly will be happy with for the rest of your life. Everyone thinks that, like, the fursona you make right now, right this second, is never going to change and you're not allowed to do anything to manipulate it or change it however you like, okay? That's so false. You shouldn't care less about what anyone thinks about your fursona and how many times you change it other than you. If anyone else is judging you for that, tell them to fuck off. It's not your problem. It's your fursona. You are up to make it however you like, in what best way describes you or embodies you, the character that you want to be in furry form. And it doesn't even have to be that. You could put on a certain character. You can have as many fursonas as you want. You could be a fucking fox that a rainbow threw up on. I don't care. I shouldn't care. It's none of my business. Unless it's harming people or hurting people, it shouldn't be my problem. And I wish people took on this mentality more, because that's why people have issues with actually making fursonas, because everyone's so goddamn judgmental and think that their opinion matters, when in reality, no one gives a fuck about you. This isn't to those making the fursonas, by the way. This is just me talking about people who have opinions that decide to be a bit too vocal about it. To easily answer your question, the most difficult portion about making a fursona is just finding the creative juices that you are looking for and worrying so much about how it's going to turn out and if you're going to be happy with it. I've had that multiple times. Look at fucking me. It took me over like 3 to 4 years in the furry fandom to make a fursona from the ground up, like literally from the ground up, and just design it and have someone sit there and design it with me. And not everyone is an artist. Not everyone has artist friends. Not everyone knows how to even start. I've given multiple videos and tutorials on how to do that, by the way, so go and check out my furry things playlist and all that. But the point is, the biggest issue is just 1, doing it because we're all unmotivated with trying to start something new or get something done, and 2, indecisiveness. Not in the sense of it being negative, but in the sense of there's so many options, you're just worried that the final product isn't going to be what you like and you're going to be stuck with it forever. You're not forced to stick with anything. You should make the fursona that you want to make. Wow, I'm really heated with a lot of these. This has to be the best goddamn video I've done in a while, and I haven't recorded a video in like 5 months. Anyways, next question. How much has the furry life improved your own life? Like for myself, when I met my first furry, I felt so accepted, and ever since it's always been like, wow, a bunch of crazy nerds here for myself that are all socially awkward. Okay, so improved my life, you can already see that from literally the first video that I have on my channel, from the 7 levels of being a furry before I was even a furry to now. You can see how much happier and so much confident I am in being myself and not having to do self-deprecating stuff and not having to rely on other people's opinions to make myself happy, and not having to worry about some of the small and petty stuff. Like, the furry fandom has allowed me to be more so me than anything. And in reality, like, it's not the whole thing of like a bunch of misfits that were social outcasts in their early life that eventually come together. No, the furry fandom is just a hobby. You're gonna have a wide variety of people, a wide range of natures of people people with different emotions and personalities and social levels. It just so happens that we all came together with the common idea of like, hey, we like fluffy and cute animals that are anthropomorphized. Let's celebrate this somehow. And that's what the furry fandom is. And in terms of it improving my life, I'm much happier. I have plenty more friends, not in the sense that I have tons of friends, but a core friend group of very close friends that I'm closer to than my actual family, and so many other things. It's done nothing but improve my life for the better. And you can take that as you will. I think anyone that's joined the furry fandom and that has gotten that invested into it feels honestly the same way. And as someone who has come from quite literally the worst community on the internet, being the commentary community, with Pyrocynical and Leafy is here, in that community of children that say all sorts of things they shouldn't and have opinions and start shit that they shouldn't, it was bad. And the fact that I came from that and got here, I think that's an improvement in and of itself. Anyways, next question. What sort of events would you love to see or be in that have not been done in the furry fandom? Well, this is another question that he asked. I mean, you're going on a roll because these are the top comments that I've received so far. What sort of events? I don't really know, because I've been to plenty of furry events. I don't know, maybe a furry event would be like all of my favorite fursuiters come over to my house and cuddle me. I think that would be an amazing furry event that I haven't experienced or seen before. I personally would be for that. That's the truthful answer to it, because I've seen literally everything else. Everything that you can think of, I have seen it. It's been kind of nutty. Furry fandom is great. What do you hope to become a thing or be possible in fursuits in the future? Like full 3D printed fursuits, fursuit air conditioning, etc. Damn, this dude's on a roll. He's had like 3 questions that are actually really good. You should be a journalist or something. Actually, I'd highly not recommend be a journalist. Do something other than being a journalist. You're smart. You're asking good questions. Things in the future for possible for fursuits. I don't want to talk about it because I do have some patents pending on another thing that I'm working on for fursuit technology, quote unquote. But 3D printed fursuits already exist. Fursuit air conditioning, never gonna happen in hindsight. But we do have cooling vests. Anything that I want to see in the future? I don't know, something that makes it easier for people to manage their fursuit, because the life expectancy of a fursuit sort of weighs and balances with how well you care for it versus how too well you care for it. If you clean your fursuit too much, it'll deteriorate more. If you don't clean enough, it'll deteriorate and smell more and it'll look bad more. So you gotta find that balance, and I'm trying to find out some different techniques or new technologies to use that'll potentially maximize the lifespan of a fursuit, because those fuckers are pretty fucking expensive. Everyone asks all the time, how much was your fursuit? I don't want to answer that. That's another question that no one asked here that I'm answering anyways. What's your favorite furry Twitter artist, comic creators, safe work if optional, include NSFW artists? I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of in that category of furries that just like, I never saw the big popular furry artists just because I never looked into it. I'm still in that category where I'm trying to find out where some good art pieces are that I can commission people for art, because I usually just go back to the same 3 artists that I commission over and over again that I've done so for the past 3 years. So like, I'm trying to figure out what other artists that I might enjoy that I'd love to commission in the future, but I'm just having issues. So if you have any, please let me know. I would ask Twitter, but you should never use the C word on Twitter. The C word is commission. If you want a furry commission, never ask Twitter. Never tweet that out. You will get all sorts of randos that all of a sudden can make anything you've ever dreamed of, as long as you give them money. Gotta love that, don't you? Hello, Beta. You know the animation that you use before your stream starts, the one of Maverick floating? It was drawn by me and animated by Cygnus. We go by the name Orionis Studio now. Cygnus looked for credit in your streams, but he wasn't able to find one and couldn't either. Maybe we should know where it is, but I've forgotten. If you would like to get credit as Orionis Studio, thanks for your attention. Okay, so here's the thing. This isn't me giving shit or anything. I appreciate you reaching out to me and letting me know, because I completely forgot to do that. Here's the thing as well. If I fuck up with something, just reach out and let me know. That's a sort of moral lesson to this sort of question. Yes, I'll add credit. I'm not really sure where I will add credit. I should probably find it somewhere on my starting stream thing for Twitch. But still, this is one of those situations where I appreciate you reaching out to me for something that I should have done that I completely forgot to do, and it's been so long. Just keep in mind, I'm a fucking idiot, and I'm the biggest scatterbrain in terms of furry YouTubers, if that's even a category. So, I'm adding that literally to my to-do list right now. Mental note in the future, not for you asking that. You did the right thing with asking me, even though it was in a Furry Q&A thing. If I fuck up and miss doing something, please let me know. That is the point of reaching out. That is why I have emails. Do not email me to say hi. That is not what a business email is for. Either way, next question. I became a furry like 2 months ago, and I like real life fursuits, but I have a question. How do you see inside the fursuit head? Well, it depends on the fursuit head. No, seriously, it does. It depends on the style of the head and what it's like on the inside. So like for me, for example, my field of view, and this is sort of a life hack that I do that I really shouldn't be letting you guys know about, but like my field of view generally in fursuit, and it depends on the fursuit head, is something like this. Like not in the middle, but I can see all around with this. I've got some pretty good vision of my fursuit, granted it's 5 pounds or so. The thing is, when there is someone that is really fucking creepy following me around for like 30 fucking minutes and is being really weird and following me around, sometimes what I'll do is I'll pretend that my field of view is like fucking 5. Like I can only see like this much. And if they're like right there, I can see them, but on purpose, I'm ignoring them because they're being a pain in the ass. And I shouldn't have to do that when I'm in suit, and no one should have to deal with that. And we'll probably get on to some question relating to that about experiences in fursuit and out of suit, but that's a later thing. With regards to seeing inside a fursuit, it all depends. The vision is pretty good depending on who's making the suit and depending on the style. Ask around, that's pretty much it. Next question. What's something you wish to accomplish in the future of the furry fandom, and what's your favorite food? Favorite food depends on the day. Nailing it down to one specific food is really fucking tricky, and I'll never figure out how to do that. As for accomplishments in the furry fandom, I've just lived my best life and enjoy it. It's a hobby to me. It's not really something that I wish to achieve something later on. Like maybe be some sort of role model or example for people to just not fucking focus on clout and worry so goddamn much about numbers, and just try to be the best fucking person you can to people that really deserve it, and not tolerate intolerance and whatnot, all these other lessons, but just be the best person that I can be for those that do watch me, because the furry fandom goes somewhat hand in hand with what I do online. So like, that's sort of my wish to accomplish things, if there is any, outside of the furry fandom. I want to be able to make content that isn't strictly furry. One of these days, maybe. I've been working on it for like a year and a half. Next question. What were your first thoughts when you realized you were a furry? Mine were along the lines of, holy shit, I've become a very thing that all my friends hate. Yeah, it just kind of was. It's a hobby. Again, like, some people have a very big realization about it, like, holy fuck. And that's because of how it's hyped up and seen in such a bad tone online, like, even to this day. Like, people think that furries are hated. Well, guess what? It's not like 5 years ago. They're much more normalized and people love them more now than anything. The thing is, for me, I always saw it as a hobby, and if people hated me, then that's their fucking problem, because it's not something that is hurting anyone at all. And most of the people that hated it are so dumb and ignorant they can't even fucking help themselves. Again, they've never experienced the loving embrace or touch of another human being in their life, besides their family. And even at that might not be enough. But still, that's just me insulting gamers that are ignorant. The point is, when I was a furry, I was like, and I tell people about it if they ask. If not, I'm just chill about it. And that's what you should be too. It's a hobby. You should not come out about being a furry. I have videos explaining that as well. Just look around on my channel. Alright, next question. What species would you want to see a fursuit of that's most likely not been made into one yet? Honestly, I'd love to see a Tatum fursuit. I think that's probably in the works or has probably been made, but like a Tatum from like VR chat, that'd be really cute. I would want a big hug from them. So fluffy and adorable. God, love to see it. I think that's the easy answer there. But good question. If Sora from Kingdom Hearts was a furry, what fursona would he be? I don't know. That's not my job to determine that. Ask an artist. What do you think the negative sides about the fandom? What are the principal negative points of furries? And last one, how do you feel about all negative things begin in the fandom? Yeah, just pretty much pay attention to any videos that I made from early January 2021 to June 2021 or so. Yeah, that gives you a good perspective on like what my thoughts are on like all negative aspects of furries. And to be honest, that whole period was just like, you know what, I kind of hate things and I hate people. And I also just, yeah, furries kind of piss me off, and I should probably just get this out there so people see it. But that's sort of my stance on it. I really don't want to go into all that because that's a can of worms that'll take like 40 minutes, and we're already 50 minutes into this. Who knows how long this video will be. Next question. How do you reckon they get those ships inside those glass bottles? I think I saw a video on it once, but I think it was high and it was like 4 a.m., so I really can't remember. Sorry. Look it up on YouTube. You're here already. But first, you should watch my fursuit unboxing video and watch my entire playthrough of Tribal Hunter. Do you think there will ever be a day where furries aren't considered cringe like the way anime has? No, yeah, it's today. That's today. Furries aren't really seen as cringe. It's a feedback loop of like sort of who you see and the sample size you're taking. If you're going to a shit ton of TikTokers and gamers and people that still think that Call of Duty is the best first-person shooter, you're probably going to get an answer something similar to you asking the question. If you ask the general public, they either won't know or they won't care. In reality, it's a hobby, and most people are more open about it than you think. At least today compared to before. In the future, it'll just get more and more so, where furries won't be seen as bad. Could Macro Maverick ever be a thing? It does exist. Unfortunately, NSFW of it exists too. Is that in my control? Not really. Not really. But regular Macro Maverick does exist. I want to see that you are making a fursuit live on YouTube. Well, you're gonna have to watch my other fursuiting videos. There's a whole playlist for that, but you're not gonna see it live on YouTube. Funniest moment while being in the fandom? Okay, I know it's kind of sad, but like the funniest moment well, being the fandom for me was like a little bit into 2019, like after I got a fursuit and everything, I had sort of this like very deep realization, like instantly, because I used to be one of like what people would consider the young furries. Like I was very hypey, like focused a lot on like social media influence and getting likes and retweets and making posts and being ooh cute and happy. I got to a point, I had just this realization at some point where none of that fucking mattered. None of what most of what furries make up online with social media and likes and taking fursuit pictures and making sure you show your fursuit and getting the best pics and ooh this and that. None of that fucking matters. Clout, popularity, none of that matters. And as soon as I realized that for me was the funniest moment in the furry fandom. I shit you not, that was the funniest moment because I realized this is so fucking stupid and so many people worry about this. It's sad. But that's a whole conversation we've sort of run into the ground on this channel. You can watch videos on that. But the point is, I had a realization where I'm like, wait a minute, none of this matters. I'm just gonna start saying fuck it and taking fursuit photos and captioning them scallops. Just scallops. It has nothing to do with the photo, but I'm just having fun with it and saying fuck it. And that's what I've been doing for like a year and a half now. And what I will say is it has been pretty good. So that is the funniest moment in my life. I don't know what that has to do with anything. What is your most favorite original fursona species, and what's your opinion on people in the otherkin/Therian community and their role in the fandom? Honestly, I don't really know much about the otherkin Therian community. I don't know if they really have an adjacent role in the fandom or if they're directly related to furries. I'm not going to make any assumptions on that. That's a separate conversation. As for the whole favorite original fursona species thing, okay, let's go to my furry fandom species playlist and which one did the best. Protogens? Protogens it is, my favorite fursona species. That was actually kind of shitty, even though I was being completely sarcastic. I'm sorry. Favorite? Probably Manokits a bit. Still haven't seen one in a life jacket. That's a bit disappointing, but that'll be one day. Who knows? I do like Protogens though. Unironically, I like Protogens. When will you create the fursuit of your new fursona so that you can replace Maverick in the future? Wow, this dude's sort of taking the approach I wish some people would be like, damn, thank God you're done with Maverick. Can we get Beta on now? Like, he's taking a completely opposite approach. I kind of dig that. I kind of need a little bit more of that. Maybe not to that extent of like, God, get rid of Maverick already. Get on to Beta. But he's just genuinely asking, hey, when are you going to involve your new fursona more? And that's why I like the fact that you guys are listening to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I love him. I love Maverick. He is my fursona. He's my character. I will always have a special place in my heart for him. But if you want an explanation as to why I don't feel as connected to him, watch my videos. Again, answer that. But yeah, fursuit for my new fursona, Beta, I don't really know. Fursuit for Levi, probably sooner than you think. Next question. Do you like the furry emoticons such as ooh woo and oh whoa? In context, sometimes I do. When people are spamming it, no, I don't. When friends are being very chill about it, when they don't make it a big thing, yeah, you know what, I enjoy it. When people are trying to like be funny or get a reaction from me out of it, yeah, no, it's not funny. Especially young kids doing that. I don't know why that's funny. Who on Furry Amino taught you that? I'm being kind of shitty right now. I'm very sorry. Have you ever been disappointed in yourself because you're a furry? Yes, I have. I've done multiple videos talking about why furries disappoint me. So yeah, I've been disappointed in myself for being a furry because I see people that are furries and I'm like, why do I have to share a community with you? Why do you exist in the same space as I do? No matter how much I block you, I'm still associated somehow with you. Why do you do this? Why are you this way? And so that's why I'm sometimes disappointed in myself for being a furry. What are your dreams and plans for the future on this channel? I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna keep doing what I've always been doing, and that's being true and honest to the self that I am here and now. Now, obviously, I'll get people being like, wow, Beta, you've changed, and this is mostly furries who want me to do another furry things or want another ooh cute fursuit video or something. Like, dead ass, this happens, where they're just like, wow, Beta, you've changed. You're not doing furry things anymore. Well, it's just like, I'm changing things up because I'm staying true to myself and doing ultimately what I want to do online. And yes, I know I run a business and I have to sort of like weigh the pros and cons of running that business and who I'm catering to and what I'm doing. But like at the end of it, I'm just doing what makes me happy, and I'll change up what I need to in order to do something that does make me happy and what I enjoy. And that's what I've been doing on the channel for the past year now. So we'll see pretty much where it goes and where the winds of change lead us. Was I hinting at a game that I'm going to potentially play? I'm probably not going to play it, but still, point being, I don't know, just leave suggestions for like videos you want me to do. Doesn't have to be furry related. That's the other thing. Eventually, for the future of the channel, I would like to get outside of furry content. I'd love to do some sort of like mainly stream highlight stuff or gaming stuff, something similar to what RT Game does, if you know who that is. That's sort of my dream goal with what I do online and being able to financially support myself while doing so. But that is up to you guys and kind of how the YouTube algorithm works and if I'm able to grow and whatnot. So the best thing I can recommend is plugging my Twitch. I know it's a shameless plug, but please go and support me on Twitch. That is sort of like my main focus right now. That is like my main passion of what I want to grow online. And I know I do the whole thing of like adding the title card or the intro of like live at BetaEtaDelota on twitch.tv or whatever. But like I genuinely mean it when Twitch is genuinely the big thing I'm focusing on right now. Even though YouTube is just kind of here and yeah, I'm recording a video and I haven't recorded video in 5 months, Twitch has been my focus in what I want to do and where I want to take things and sort of the eventual platform that I want to have as my main. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point one day, but if you want to support me and help me make that come true, follow me on Twitch and just come by for a stream. It's as genuinely me as I can possibly be, even outside of these recordings. And I will say that I have the most fun in the world on those streams, and I love the community that I have. So I'm sure you'll like it over there. If you haven't been on Twitch before, feel free to try it. I'm usually live 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on weekdays, maybe every other weekday. I don't know what my schedule is necessarily, but still, check me out when I'm live. Say hi. Still, next question. If you could change one aspect, as specific or generalized as you'd like, of the furry fandom, what would it be? I'd change how mature some subsectors of the fandom are. We're all adults, hopefully, so we should act like it. That's just wishful thinking. I know how the furry fandom really is. To be fair, I've done multiple videos talking about what I wish would change about the furry fandom. And honestly, I wish people wore more life jackets, okay? Y'all aren't taking water safety seriously. 2012, I know, has already passed, and we thought it was gonna happen, but no, it could still happen. What's the cutest fursona you've ever seen? This guy. As in my Aussie Shep, Beta, the Australian Shepherd. Look, this isn't me being narcissistic. This is just me understanding some level of self-confidence. I know that I'm cute. I know that my fursona is cute. I don't need other people to tell me that. You can tell me that, but I don't need other people to tell me that. How do you feel when putting on a fursuit on for the first time? Oh, that's actually sort of a question. Now, it sort of depends on who it is that you're putting on for a fursuit. Like, obviously, it's a bit weird when you put on your fursuit for the first time, but sometimes I suit swap with friends, and I have to get into some character that I just can't really figure out, and sometimes, like, that's the one that hits instantly as soon as I see myself in the mirror of whatever or whoever I am. And that's sort of just the weird thing. It depends for some people. Some people are just like, it's just a fucking costume, wear it. While others are like, you know, I gotta get into some character. And that's sort of the way I sort of approach it. So for me, it feels weird where I'm trying to figure out what it is that really works. What are your thoughts on expensive pool toys? Same thing as fursuits, you know, they're commodities, they're luxuries. You don't have to own one, but if you want to own a really, really good quality, really colorful, big, expensive pool toy, same thing with the fursuit. You can, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what you enjoy, and that's what makes you happy. What do you do when no friends are around and you're all by yourself? You ever play Minecraft? How many life jackets do you own? Okay, truthfully, I've owned up to 10 life jackets. I currently own like 4 or 5 or so because I gave the others away because they were old or like, you know, donate them, whatever. But still, I've owned 10, and not including the one on the wall. The 2 there aren't flotation devices or PFDs. They're just for cosplay. So I've had about 10 in total. I have like 4 or 5 now, truthfully. I would like more, so if you have any more life jackets that sort of fit the aesthetic that I'm going for, the nice shiny, rubbery, squeaky ones, feel free to send them to me, I guess. I don't know. What's your favorite Otter Pop flavor? What the fuck is an Otter Pop? Isn't that something from like Zootopia? Like the whole... Oh wait, no, those are Paw Pops, popsicles. Oh, that's what they are. I didn't even know what those things were called. I just remember having a shit ton of those back in like the summer during like my childhood. Oh man, I could totally buy like a package of these. I gotta add these to my stream gifts or something, because God, would I love to have one of these again. It's been a hot minute since I've had an Otter Pop. I remember hitting my sister in the face with one of these, and then I lost my Xbox for like a week. Good times. Still, Otter Pops. Favorite flavor? Blue raspberry. Oh my God, can someone buy me some Otter Pops? Or get me some art of Beta, the Aussie Shep, just like happily sucking on an Otter Pop, or like crazily sucking on an Otter Pop? It sounds really good in my head. It might not sound good in practice, but still, I want some Otter Pops, okay? I know it's literally just sugar ice, but still, that shit was my childhood. I didn't even know what they were called, but now I know what they're called. Thank you so much for that. What is the best moment you have ever had at any moment in your life? Probably something relating to like unveiling my fursuit or debuting my fursuit at Anthrocon during my friends thing with one of my best friends on stage. That was great. Also had a bunch of other really, really great great moments, but I'm sure I have some more in the future. What inspired you to make YouTube videos? An old Call of Duty commentator known as the Legend of Thunder, also known as 402 Thunder 402. He was the first content creator that I watched on YouTube because I wanted to see Call of Duty gameplay, and oh my god, I was entertained by the fact that he just sat there and recorded his Call of Duty gameplay and talked about it. I'm like, you know what? I want to do that, and I did it, and it sucked, but God bless Thunder. How did you find out you were gay? Okay, this is actually kind of funny because I originally thought I was asexual and aromantic because no one was falling in love with me and everyone was in relationships except me. So I was like, well, you know what? Fuck me, I guess. And that's what I was feeling at the time. But come college, when I started talking to a guy, I realized that he had a crush on me. And that made me think for a bit. I'm like, wait a minute. And I went for like a 10-minute walk thinking about this. I'm like, wait a minute. This guy has a crush on me. I do like him back, sort of in that way. I do like dick too. That explains a lot. And that's how I kind of realized it. It just kind of happened. It's your favorite Nintendo character. Which one has a life jacket? I am lonely. Please, someone talk to them. Please get them out of my comments. Do you like cheese? Yes. What's your favorite cereal flavor? Also, yes. Do you take showers in your fursuit? Of course. Do you like Lego? Yes. What's your verdict about furries all around the world? Hey, furries are pretty cool. Live your best life as a furry, as long as it's not harming others, which most of the time you're not. Are you a furry? Yeah, nah, man. But either way, that about does it for me for today. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. If you want me to do more of these in the future, I guess, I don't know, let me know. If you want me to talk about any other videos or things, let me also know. I'm gonna go the fuck to sleep. Thank you guys for this wonderful Q&A. Have a good day. Subscribe to me on Twitch, all that nonsense. Other than that, stay life jacket and take care.